This is Oheka Castle.
Basically, I'm going to Oheka Castle. Mr. Otto Kahn, or Otto Herman Kahn's estate. Currently owned by Gary Meliel or something. Anyway, here it is. Melios, I think. There's Oheka Castle. See? I'm entering. So there is homes within the Oheka Castle fortress. Since at the time of Otto, when he lost ownership, this place became military camp, sanitation people, and school, all these kind of things. It had times of being abandoned. Thank God for Gary Melios coming in here and purchasing the place in 1984. Okay, look at this entranceway. I'm entering Oheka Castle. Alright, let's stop. To the woman who works up here. I actually remember meeting her last time I was here. The gate, she's opening it for me. Well, the gate's being opened for me. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty freaking cool. Look at that. Thank you. Alright, gate's been opened. Now I'm driving through. Huge. I think it's the second largest home mansion estate in the United States. It's been that way for a long time. And guys cleaning the grounds here. Look at this. How beautiful, huh? Cool. Alright, so keep going. Cobblestones right here. Oh, that's the castle right there. You see that? Check that out. That's the place. And I'm gonna have to drive past the cobblestone. That side here. The guy's gonna flag me.
Here aboard liner Suffolk in early 1920s is Otto H. Kahn. Son of immigrant who became naturalized American citizen, Kahn was one of the most powerful financiers of his day, with strong voice in affairs of banking and industry. Otto H. Kahn, financial wizard of yesterday.
The opulent mansions that once lined Long Island's North Shore used to reflect what was a common lifestyle on Long Island. Well, now that type of luxurious living is the exception rather than the rule. But as Chris Calora reports, there is still one mansion that offers the opportunity for everyone to experience the luxury of what was once Long Island's Gold Coast.
It played a role in one of the most famous films ever, portraying Citizen Kane's mansion Xanadu with aerial shots in the 1941 film classic. Nowadays, Oheka Castle in Huntington survives as one of the grandest of Long Island's Gold Coast mansions and offers Long Islanders a chance to get a taste of what it may have been like living in one of the classic mansions back in the heyday of the Gold Coast. Completed in 1919, Oheka Castle was built as a summer home for the philanthropist banker Otto Kahn and remains the second largest private residence ever built in the country. Kahn was famous for throwing Gatsby-like parties at his palatial estate.
So whether it was a private dinner for 100-something guests or it was a big lavish party for a few thousand people and having Enrico Caruso sing in the ballroom, he was just just loved life.
But Kahn died in 1934, and his widow eventually sold off the estate. It was never used as a private residence again, and it was finally abandoned in 1979. It fell into disrepair and was eventually condemned to be torn down. That's when developer Gary Milius stepped in, purchasing the estate for $1.5 million, with the vision of restoring the home to its former grandeur.
Well, I always thought it could be restored. I didn't think how big a job it was going to be to restore. I think I underestimated that.
Since then, Milius has spent about $30 million restoring Oheka Castle to its former magnificence. Today it's open to the public as a luxury hotel, spa, and catering venue.
Perhaps one of the most interesting things about Oheka Castle are the structural design details that Otto Kahn wanted for his home. There are some examples here in the library.
He developed Oheka in concrete.
So it's basically fireproof, with very little wood, but where it's most prominent is in the library, which looks like wood and feels just as warm as a room would if it was made in wood paneling. But it is actually painted plaster, which is done in a technique that was created in the 1920s called faux bras. As a hotel, Oheka Castle remains a living, breathing estate, an opportunity for people today to experience the elegance of what it was like to be a guest in a Gold Coast mansion of the 1920s. After Otto Kahn passed away, the property changed hands several times. It became a retirement home, and later the Eastern Military Academy.
The Long Island estate of the late Otto Kahn, American philanthropist and banker, with its 100-room mansion and 440 acres of grounds and gardens, changes hands. The Sanitation Association of New York City takes over, renames the place and throws a party. The estate was once worth nearly £250,000, but it was bought for $20,000. The baronial halls where presidents and premiers met at sumptuous banquets now belong to some 15,000 street cleaners and their families. Instead of caviar, they eat hot dogs. For a few cents a day, they and their children can romp and swing on what used to be a croquet lawn. And when they're tired of that, they can wield a pretty racket on the tennis courts. 300 cottages are to be built on the estate for employees of the sanitation department and their families. And we wouldn't be surprised if each cottage was the last word in sanitation. It's literally a country club for the man in the street, the dustman's dream of home.
Then, in 1979, it was abandoned. Real estate developer Gary Milius. He bought it for a steal in 1984, just $1.5 million. Gary saw a diamond in the rough. Before Oheka's cosmetic surgery could begin, 300 trailer trucks of trash were hauled out during the first 6 months of work.
In restoring the castle, I put approximately $37 million so far, and depending on my plans, probably have another $20 million to go.
Entering.
As you can expect, a lot of traffic is coming through this entranceway.
I'm getting in. It's the main entrance. It's gorgeous.
This footage is from June 2014. My cousin captured a light anomaly on the lower left portion of the staircase while taking a still photo of me and my mom at the top of the stairs in October of 2015, which is the last time I went to Oheka Castle. Check it out. The most I captured were orbs with my full spectrum camera as shown in this pic. This is the extent of what my still photos produced during my visits. These orbs can be considered dust.
Any spirits who'd like to speak up? A lot of traffic, a lot of people have walked through here. It's beautiful. Otto, are you around here? Or any of your family? Any of the cons?
I knew a fellow named Otto Kahn. He was a very rich man. And he gave a lot of money to the Metropolitan Opera House at one time. And his close friend was Marshall P. Wilder, who was a hunchback. And they were walking down Fifth Avenue and they came to a synagogue. And Kahn turned to Wilder and he said, Marshall, You know, I used to be a Jew. Marshall says, really? I used to be a hunchback.
Better go out in the back.
You had formal gardens on this side designed by the Olmsted brothers, who were the sons of Frederick Law Olmsted, famous for Central Park and White House grounds. You had tennis courts. You had a 75-foot lap pool, 16 feet deep. You had a 10-car garage that has your fine automobiles, a dairy farm and creamery, a racetrack, and an airstrip. You had 109,000 square feet of living space. You had 126 rooms, 13 bedroom suites, huge luxury suites with common areas. You had 39 fireplaces, and you had a staff to take care of all of that. 125 staff. Well, you know when they stand outside and they wait for the dignitaries? Imagine a staff of 125. They came in by way of railroad, many of them. They walked across the golf course, entered through the tunnel, so they had access to the kitchens and the laundries. The main butlers, the main maids, and the valets would live upstairs on the 4th floor. It's crazy. You know, I just opened up a Douglas Elliman real estate thing. If you go to like King Cullen, they're for free. I cannot believe what I see in Upper Brookville and Old Westbury in these houses. They're still out there. It's just amazing.
Piano's playing and there's nobody here. It's actually playing. Look at this. It's freaking playing. I'm gonna play with it. It's alive.
I never got to see the indoor pool during my visits at the castle.
This is the pool room that Otto Kahn built back in 1920.
For Kahn, it was pure luxury. But the current owner may have more sinister plans based on what's in the works.
There are two plans now currently being debated for this particular space. One is to use it as a spa, and the second is to use it as a catering space with a shark tank. The second plan is definitely my favorite.
in Oheka Castle. I got a cold and I'm losing my voice.
It's not all restored. I think 70%, a little more than that, has been restored. They don't really talk too much about the haunted activity captured in here or experienced, but it does happen. They set up all these chairs now. There's going to be a bunch of weddings, celebration events going on. Just had a nice lunch here. Actually, I could have been filming, doing stuff instead of eating, but it was a good meal. Desserts. Just took from over here. And I'm kind of alone in this room right now, just enjoying little refreshments. Good. Quite good indeed. Let's go. It looks like Jello, or
looks like a Jello.
Jello something.
I'll take a plate. What can I help you to? What would you like? Tell me.
One of these is good. That's perfect.
Is this good?
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh, right.
Thank you.
Well, that's...
Started down by Eastern Military Academy. His dog used to run around the corner chasing his tail, as dogs often do. But his dog would do it every day in the same corner, round and round and round. Gary would like throw something at him, stop it, stop it, stop it. One day the paranormal people knocked on Oheka's door and we come in and see if we can pick up any activity. Where did they pick it up? In the corner of that room. Gary goes like this. So that was that. But then another time I had some guests who stayed here one night and they took my tour the next day. And the lady showed me a photograph of what she took on her iPhone, one right after the other. You know how you roll, the camera roll? She took a photograph at sunset the night before through the library window out towards the garden. And there were two, one right after the other, so you swiped. Well, the second swipe, there was a figure, a translucent figure coming towards her in the garden. Not an old-fashioned roaring 20s figure, just a woman. It looked like a woman with a scarf. I went to the window to see if maybe it was a reflection from behind at the same time the next night, and there was no reflection. Again, I don't know. She just thought it very odd that she picked up this figure, and it looked translucent, and I could see it too. I had it posted on an old blog that I used to do for Huntington Patch, so it's probably still up there, but you'd have to go through the archives of Laura's blog. You'll see the photograph called A Moment of Transparent Clarity, so you'll see it.
Some event tonight, I guess. Probably a wedding. Oh, we're taking the elevator?
We are.
Here's the suites, the rooms. You can actually rent in here. It's kind of expensive. Kind of losing my voice. Got a cold. It's a big room.
Bill Clinton officiated at the wedding.
Oh, in here?
The wedding, the wedding was for Anthony Weiner, if you guys remember.
Oh, yeah.
How much is this room a night? His wife works.
This one I think is $9.95 on its own. But, you know, many people when they do parties here, they take blocks of room, so you get.
I think $3.95 is the cheapest, right?
Yeah, $3.95 is on the third floor, and they're all nice. Every room is nice.
Yeah.
But you can see how the interior designers did their interior design showcase, so some of this is left over from that time period.
Third floor. The Milios live, where the Khans used to live. Check this out. See this stairway right here? Look at that stairway. That's it right there. This place was vandalized and left abandoned for, well, until the early 80s. Ooh, unfinished. This is part of the 30% that hasn't been completed. Right in here. This is part of Oheka Castle you would normally not see. Oh, Lord.
How's it going? I was like, oh my God, there it goes here.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking for.
Notice the hanging light appears still, and it was a bit windy out from this August 2015 footage.
The chandelier. It's moving in the outside patio here.
Next is footage of the same hanging light in October of 2015 when the wind was much more subdued. But notice the hanging light is swerving around. I'm not saying this is paranormal, and I'm sure it was some breeze. My mom and my cousin Kathy were in town, so I brought them to have lunch at the castle. Here's a quick moment capturing Oheka Castle owner Gary Milios on film.
I know. I just think that guys who was like making this music, that's why.
No, he is not a ghost, but I am using this as a segue to mention that around the time of my first filming visit to the castle, there was an assassination attempt made on his life at the mansion. Luckily, he survived the shooting. There was plenty of news coverage on this tragic event. It appears the suspect has never been apprehended and they are still looking for leads. I will present a CBS newsreel a year after the shooting, followed by an animated recreation of the crime, and then the actual surveillance footage.
The owner of a Long Island mansion shot and nearly assassinated 1 year ago. Now he hopes a massive reward will help catch his would-be killer. CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff reports from the North Shore.
A gun pointed at his head nearly ended his life, but Gary Melia says he does not live in fear. In fact, he's upping the ante.
They wanted to help some way and felt, really helpless.
The help of friends coming in the form of a massive reward and a new tip line. The well-known Long Island power broker sat down with me inside palatial Oheka Castle, which he transformed into a catering venue. He says he hopes the reward will generate new leads. 1 year ago today, a masked gunman shot Melius through a car window. The gun jamming saved his life. The suspect fled in a Jeep. Sources have named persons of interest, among them Melius' son, Thomas, who has a criminal record.
There is absolutely nothing to link him to this shooting.
So who does he think wanted him dead? He names political foes and suspects the shooter was a paid hitman, but admits it's still a mystery.
Are you any closer today, Gary, a year later, to knowing who did this to you?
I not only don't know who, I can't think of why anybody would kill me.
Melia says he's recovered from injuries, but believes what's permanently damaged is his reputation.
Has tainted me as somebody bad, which I like to say I'm not. It believes me under a cloud that, why'd this guy get shot?
The crime was caught on one of the security cameras here at Oheka Castle. Police have not yet released it. They call it a key piece of evidence that they may release at some point, but not now. In Huntington, Long Island, Carolyn Gussoff, CBS 2 News.
Long Island developer 69-year-old Gary Melius was shot in the face at Oheka Castle on Monday in an attempted assassination. According to reports, Melius was just getting into his car at around 12:30 when a masked man approached and opened fire at him. The New York Post quoted one of his friends saying that the bullet went through the window of the car, which redirected it just enough to avoid a clean headshot. The New York Times said Melius stumbled back into the house where he was discovered by his daughter, Kelly. He was then rushed to hospital. Reports say it is unknown who the assailant was or what his motives are, but police are investigating. Melius is a well-known developer and political power broker. To give you an idea of the scope of his power and wealth, this is Oheka Castle, the second largest private home in the United States, with 127 rooms and over 109,000 square feet. It was also part of the inspiration for the Gatsby estate in F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby.
wonder if people live there that actually work here. I mean, he had like 443 acres. He's down to what, 20-something acres now? The rest was sold off. So that wall right there looks, that brick wall looked pretty old. I have a feeling it's from back in the day of Oheka Castle. It's very steep where I'm walking right now. Yeah, this looks pretty old. I have to go outside of here to see the whole thing, but it's kind of hard to get around. It's the gate that lets you out. Somebody, I think, is leaving. That's what it is. So it's going to close now. Go down so you can see it a little better. Check it out. Now that gate will close. I'm pretty sure. There you go. That's it. Gate is closed. Okay, there's a tunnel. They used to lead to the kitchen, I believe, of the Oheka Castle here. It's on the grounds and it's down here, but I think it's shut off. I don't think you can get into it. They locked it off, but I'm going to check anyway. A lot of maintenance going on. Oh, okay. Well, look. You can see there's one entrance, and another entrance, and another one. But this one, holy cow, here it is. This is it. This is it. Oh, I can see somebody on the other side working in the castle. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. See? That looks like the original gate with the tree from that place in Germany that Otto grew up as a kid in. Okay, we'll do a spirit box session here on the lower level. And this is an entrance tunnel into the castle where they bring goods and shipments and whatnot and store stuff. So I'm going to see if I can possibly get some spirit activity with the spirit box session. Here we go. White noise. So Otto Khan, anybody who's around here, any spirit, can speak with me through this white noise. You're going to get the sound. Try your best to communicate with me through the white noise. Try to speak through the white noise, new spirit. Otto Khan, are you here? Otto Herman Khan. Anybody from the Khan family? My name is James. I love your place. I'm glad to report it. It was abandoned for a good 6 years and vandalized, burned almost to the point where they were going to demolish the place. Can you hear me, sir?
out to you, and your family, your wife, your children, daughter, when your daughter is married here now. First marriage that ever took place here. There's a wedding many times here now. Many weddings happen here. You say yes?
It is really hard to hear that voice say yes. You can hear it better just from the digital audio recorder I am holding. Here's the same clip with just that audio. I'll repeat it a few times after.
You say yes? Who is that? You just spoke to me. What's your name? Did you say Otto? Or Otto? That's you Otto time? I heard you, sir.
I'll repeat that reply with the male voice saying the name Otto when I ask, "What's your name?" I don't think that can be discarded as a coincidence.
Asked the person's name, it said Otto. So that's Otto Khan. So he came through. Thank you. You still here, Otto? I'm going to stop the spirit box now.
Khan's demands included a maze of secret tunnels within its walls, so his 126 workers could come and go without disrupting anyone in the main house.
This is the way the employees came into the building each morning or evening, depending on what shift they were on. We're in the lower level of the building. We're going to go down now to my secret man cave. This is my hideout, especially in the winter when we want to smoke cigars and I don't get yelled at by my wife.
Gary had the tunnels extended at a staggering cost of $200,000. They had to be dug out by hand. It took over a month just to break through the concrete wall to the room.
Believe it or not, this is my favorite room in the whole castle. Get away from everybody.
Get some pictures of this.